first time I visited Lithuania was 1994. It was a very different country back then.
Before I came here, before I learned about Lithuania itself, I didn't know anything and I didn't actually think of it at all.
It was certainly the language which made me interested in this country.
I didn't know the difference between the Baltics and the Balkans.
Važiuoti ir škartą akimirką, kada įsimylė iš vieną vietos. Mano tėvas dar taip įsimylėjo šitą vietos, kad jo čia ir liko.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, let's start. Okay, so at first I will ask you to introduce yourself, to say your name, your main activity, profession. Well, I mean, it can be different from your studies, but maybe you can mention both. And how long have you been in Lithuania? This will be like.
So my name is Marcel. I'm from Hungary. I'm a Hungarian citizen. I came here first of all 2 years ago to study. Then I returned twice for a little period, like a short period. And then lately I came here some 9 months ago. And since that I live here. I was living in Kaunas. And I moved to Vilnius and I took a job here. And my profession is actually linguist. That's my master's. But I'm not, practicing my profession at the moment.
Mane vardą yra Paulo Romano. Aš į lietuvišką devyniasdešimt pendamente į lietuvišką. Mato Laisvė Versalėje. O padaro pirmą pizzeriją į Laisvė Versalėje. Paskui padaro mato che veiga la beghere pizzeria su mani stili darbo. O padaro kita pizzeria dar. Padaro dar vinologa pizzeria c'è lietuviška padaro. O dabar lì c'è, in pizzeria, vendravo su cliente, che bussa atmosfera che in Italia.
My name is Jack Greenspan. I was born in Los Angeles, but raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the United States. I am currently an associate professor at Vytautas Magnus University, and I also work as a professional writer.
My name is Monika. I'm working in Danske Bank. I'm a situation manager. And well, so far I'm here for almost 2 years. Yeah, it will be 2 years in the end of May, so.
And you're from?
I'm from Poland. I'm Polish.
My name is JD Minninger and I am a professor at Vytautas Magnus University. I am an American citizen. I grew up in the state of Kansas in the United States. Living there with the exception of 1 year when I lived in Oregon till I was about 20 years old, at which point I moved to Germany for some undergraduate work at a university and back to the United States after that, and from there my movement and life starts to skip over a lot of other places, but certainly I remain an American by passport at the very least, but I have lived in Lithuania for the last 9, almost 10 years.
Say 1, say 2, say 3, and I'll say 4. Yeah, okay, there's some funky shit right here. Yeah, no. Hey, let me hear you talking through the box, okay?
So what was your main motivation for coming here? Why Lithuania?
Aš pradėjau dirbą in Sicilia apie 12 metų, kada turėjau 12 metų. Paskui važiuoju į Vokietiją, dirbę į pizzą kepą į Vokietiją. Paskui padaro pizzeriją pats, o padaro pizzeriją. Paskui grįžę, buvo 20 metų į Vokietiją. Paskui aš buvau atostogas čia, matau šitą vietą, man patinka šitą vietą, padaro šitą vietą restorantą. Kada buvo aš čia į Kaunas, buvo tik viena pizzerija. Paskui padaro visą kopiją mani stili darbo.
When I left for Hungary, my mother and my sister said, "That's it. You're never going to live in the United States again." I was living in Hungary, and I didn't like it. I wasn't happy there, and so a friend of mine was living in Lithuania and said, "You should move to Lithuania." And I said, "Okay, but I need a job." And so she helped me find a job, and so I moved here. It's really that simple. Kaunas is to me the perfect size city. It's relatively small. You can know people. There's still a movie theater. There's still a McDonald's. You know, there's still all the comforts of home. But it's not like Los Angeles, which is too large.
I encountered Lithuanians through my studies because I had an Estonian, minor in university. And by going to Estonia, I traveled through Lithuania, so I saw the Lithuanian writings, texts. I've been crossing Lithuania some, 5-6 times, and I just decided that, man, I have to understand this language.
I came here to learn Lithuanian in general, but after a semester, actually 2 semesters previously, I was living in Kaunas. After 2 semesters of being here, I realized I like it here, so I decided to stay. Well, it was a kind of difficult decision at the beginning, but I think I don't regret it at all. My family was more concerned that it will not be easy for me to live here in general, because it's kind of like, for them, in their heads, it's still a Soviet country, Russia's influence, and they think it's dangerous for Polish people to be abroad somewhere, especially somewhere where Russia is very strong. And they not really understand that it's not like this in here anymore. They just didn't know that. And right now, since I'm living here for a while, they're starting to see other aspects of this place.
My parents moved here to work at LCC International University in 1994, and they were here for just under 14 years. So I feel like I've known the culture for a while, and I feel like I've been familiar with the place for a while. But I didn't move here myself to live at a more permanent way until 2007.
Is it economically reasonable, for example, for you to stay here? Is it okay? Could you make, let's say, the same amount of money for the same job in your country?
Kuronore galama penigo dirba, kuronore. Kure milo sava darbo, ki pavunze, aish milo mana darbo. Stipendo busirge normale. Kaunas era doc pizzeria. Aba kokiba, rega pa juri kurire kokiba. Palci kliente žino kuro kokiba, kure.
Aš visada sakiau mano broliu ar mano tėvu, mes kažkaip konkurenciją neturim. Žinot, kodėl neturim konkurenciją? Kodėl mūsų pizza, čia nieks nedaro čia Lietuvoje. Aš niekada nesakiau, einu, pavyzdžiui, į kitur pizzeria, čia mano konkurentas. Ne, kodėl aš darau mano lygis mėsą ir kiti daro skirtingas negu manas. Aš niekada nesakiau, kad aš konkurenciją turiu. Visi mokam padaryti pizzą ir taip toliau. Bet svarbu ne tik skaniai gaminti, bet kas iš širdis irgi yra iš vienas žmogus. Ir mano tėvo tą širdis su jo klientas atiduoda tikrai visiems.
If I was doing the same job that I have now in an American university, I'd probably be making, on a relative scale, 4 to 5, possibly 6 times as much in terms of standard of living. When I tell my friends how much I make, they gasp and then laugh at me. The trade-off is that I get to travel, I get to see sights, and live a very different lifestyle, a slower lifestyle. The classes that I teach here, things like film history and creative writing and things like that, I would probably have a harder time finding a job doing that in the States, not because I'm any less qualified, but because there are many more people vying for the position.
Certainly, for the same kind of job as I have here, I would certainly make the same amount of money. Overall life quality salaries are not better here than in Hungary. But I wanted to have a new environment. Lithuania made a huge development in the last 10 years. In Hungary, the thing is that it did not much change. Just a bit went upwards, but here the life quality and the salaries really went upwards. So 10 years ago in Hungary, certainly the salaries and the life quality was better than here.
Here it's like 3 million people, and in Poland it's 40 million. So there is much more people with same experience, same education, same situation as me, and it would be more difficult to find anything like that, anything similar to that. Also, of course, well, in Poland I would get a little bit more bigger salary, definitely, if I found a similar job. But like housing is more expensive. My boss told me that one of the main reasons they hired me is because I basically can speak English with them only, and that gives opportunity for my colleagues to communicate in English.
It's tough. It is tough here. I mean, I work two jobs, and and other particular sort of contract jobs all the time, because you're constantly scrambling, and it actually makes life very difficult because you can't concentrate on one thing. And that's not a special arrangement for a foreigner working here. That's often the case for other, my colleagues who are Lithuanians, for instance. Sphere of higher education in Lithuania is most certainly in crisis, and it's shrinking, and there's a lot of tension surrounding what's going on, but it is nevertheless the case that because it's smaller, there are certain opportunities that are there that I like. You can be a part of conversations that you might not immediately be a part of in a much bigger pool and a much bigger pond of fish. If salary was all that mattered to me, I wouldn't have moved here anyhow. I knew exactly what I was moving to, and I feel very proud of that I would come here anyhow, and I like it here.
Well, let's forget, for example, for a minute that you're a linguist. Do you think it's important for a foreigner who comes to other country like Lithuania, for example, to learn the language, the local language? What do you think?
If I'd move anywhere, even if I would be a meteorologist, I would study the language at least at the basic level, that I would understand what is going on around me. At least I wouldn't maybe go for like perfect language knowledge, but to understand what is on the advertisements, if somebody comes to ask you some basic things, to be able to answer, or if you want to ask where is the nearest shop to ask.
Personally, I don't have so many situations when I have to speak Lithuanian anymore, because my job demands me to speak English. But I think to communicate with people, to just have this contact with, in regular daily places and daily situations, it's really easy and really so much better to speak Lithuanian. It was easier for me to learn Lithuanian than for other people from different countries, I guess. But I wouldn't say it was easier in general. English was so much easier than this. This is still a difficult language. This is still something that people need to focus more on. English is everywhere, Lithuanian is something exotic. And it's really hard to learn it when you don't stay here. Also, when you're staying here, it's really difficult to learn it anyways, because people usually change to English with you because they know you're a foreigner. Or in my case, they change to Russian because I'm having the Slavic accent, or they assume I'm Russian and they speak Russian to me.
In general, I think language plays a massive role in integration. So I think that's going to be then true certainly here. That there are, even though I speak some Lithuanian, I call it a social language. It's not a language that I use very much at work, but I can understand pretty much anything at this point and have basic conversations and make myself understood as necessary. But it's a family language for me mostly. But that said, there are a lot of things that one just doesn't participate in, at least sometimes at all, and one doesn't participate in very much if you're not very adept at the language.
Mane buva piski sunga, aba ashi norio dirbe letuske, mokinda po piske. Dabar ashi suprando dok, aba kalba manera piski sunga, aba mane sunes kalba perfette letuske.
Cioè, ich prajo, perché messo ich moginam per pusjameto galta, aš pradėjau per pusjameto šnekėti lietuvių kalbą. Ir gal dėl to, kad mano tėvų, kad atvažiavau čia Lietuvoje, prisimenu, sako, tipo, eik dirbti, sako, su klientai ir aš sakydavau visada, o kaip aš galiu dirbti, jeigu aš dar net labas negaliu sakyti. Sako, nebijok, tu eik, sako, tipo, tu išmokinsi. Ir mes per pusjametų jau išmokinam lietuvių kalbą.
O jūs? Tai man žinokit tas pats buvo. Nes aš kai atvažiavau čia, tik tai angliškai šnekėjau. Ir Paulas sako, tu iš karto ateik dirbti. Aš irgi pasakiau, bet kaip aš galiu dirbti padavėjas, kaip aš čia galiu bendrauti su klientam, jeigu aš nešnekau lietuvių kalbą. Tai tu nebijok, išmokinsi. Ir tai buvo, man irgi per 5 mėnesius visą metą jau pradėjau šnekėti.
What did you find especially strange when you came to Lithuania, unusual for you, like some things you had to get used to?
Customer service. Customer service in Lithuania is non-existent. In America, the idea of a diner, where the waitress will come by fairly regularly, where she'll refill your coffee for free, ask you how you're doing if you need anything else. Whereas here, if I've got an hour break between classes, I usually have to go to Hesburger because I can't guarantee that if I go to, say, Charlie Pizza, that I'm actually going to get served, have the waitress or waiter take my order and get served in an hour.
Anksčiau, kada aš buvau čia po 25 metų, buvo mane labai sunku. Aš norėjau, kaip į Vokietiją dirba, kaip stile, duoti rangą persona kur atėjo, duoti rangą, labą dieną, nepriprato, dar nepriprato, po piskį bijo. Paskui mane persona, pats klientė, klauso, kur Paulo yra, kodėl aš turiu daug darbo. Sako, kur Paulo, kodėl neduoti rangą uns. Aš nespėjau visą duoti rangą klientė. Buvo labai gerai man. Onze cultura era kita. Aš kada te cliente labą dieną, kaip sagas iš kanūnės, aš klausiu visą.
Lithuanians a little bit, compared to Estonians, they are a little bit warm-blooded, more open, more, I don't know, talkative, like Hungarians. So they are open people. Lithuanians, it's easy to speak with them, to make friends with them.
It's very difficult to get into Lithuanian communities because they're kind of closed for people that are like strangers. It's easier to meet new people from foreigner circles in Lithuania, to be honest, than from Lithuanian circles.
I still think that in this culture, people wear more black in general, and just blacks and dark clothes. Like when I go down Laisvės alėja in the wintertime, I think there's, you just see seas of black coats, and I'll let you draw whatever conclusion you want from that, but none of this is absolutely black or white for me. Maybe it's just being around too long it's the same thing with, like, you asked me about cultural differences, and sometimes I have trouble discerning them anymore because I simply don't pay attention to them very much.
Is there anything you miss here?
Oras kažkaip mūsų oras, čia biškai yra biškai šaltesnė oras.
Oras ir viduržemio jūra.
I miss fast food culture, that I can just swing by and pick up anything. Every type of food you want, you can get and have within 5 minutes. I miss being able to see animated movies because all the animated movies that come here, because they're ostensibly for children, are dubbed into Lithuanian. I miss bookstores, English language bookstores. I can browse.
Sometimes the food, and I miss my friends, but I don't miss much things. My family as well, but that's all. I also have many friends here, so I'm not lonely or something at all.
My friends. I don't miss the American culture. I mean, honestly, I really don't. I mean, there are little things that you'd say, oh, like, I would eat a milkshake or drink a milkshake from that place, or, you know, I miss certain barbecue, maybe, food. But I don't really miss that. I don't sit around thinking like, oh, poor JD misses this. Like, I really don't. It's perfectly fine.
Except of weather and my family and friends. Prices. Lithuania recently became super expensive. Oh, also I miss food, because here it's quite, well, it is similar, but it's still different. Lots of heavy stuff. We don't have it so much. And we eat more soups. Aš nevalgau daug bulvių ir kiaulienų, o lietuviai visada neradau niekur lenkų patiekalus, lenkų virtuvę restoranų.
Do you see a future in Lithuania? Do you feel like staying here for long?
Before even getting to know or having such ideas to study Lithuanian, I already had the thought that I want to live in Estonia once. So I haven't given up on this dream. So I think I would move to Estonia and maybe I would stay there. Or maybe I would come back to Lithuania to build a life up here. I wouldn't say I feel at home, but I feel familiar. But I also don't feel at home in Estonia. I feel home in Hungary. When I start to feel home, then I want to move places. So that's why I came here. Wanted to see something else, like not like home.
I feel like I can live here for like 3-4 years, maybe up to 5, but it's very, I like change stuff in my life, and I think I would get bored at some point. So yeah, well, for now I can stay, but later I think like I will stay here longer, but not way too long. I was thinking maybe Greece, they are or like I don't know, Greece, Spain, Italy. In Greece they're looking for Polish speakers all the time, so I'm kind of having the opportunity to go there and find a job already. But yeah, I wouldn't like to be anywhere in Baltics anymore.
I'm open to moving, but my family continues to live as if, and I think we have to. I mean, you have to keep planning as if we would be here. And again, there's no reason or urgency to leave, you know, other than, you know, and again, at some point it may be a move that has nothing to do with finances, and a move just because I would have been here for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, and you know, I just wouldn't want to be working the same thing for that long, and just want new adventures and get burned out with it. So we'll see, maybe. I'm happy here right now, and I could be happy other places, and it just sounds very wishy-washy, I know. But.
Mes jau čia susikūrėm, kaip mano tėvo sukūrė verslą čia, ir mes jau būtų turim, ir veikėjai čia, darželį greitai mokyklą irgi, ir negalvoju išvažiuoti kur nors.
Aš irgi čia, turi mano šeima čia, irgi čia. Aš ir ką padarysiu į tą, ką turiu darbą čia, kad turiu šeimą čia. Aš noriu likti čia.
No matter what else happens, no matter wherever we go, over the course of the rest of our lives, I will always be tied to Lithuania. I will always have a connection through my child and my wife. I won't necessarily be as quick to shun the country, because now there's a personal investment. You know, I've always liked the country, but now I've got an actual bond to be here.